Welcome back to the tipping point. Picture this. It's an ordinary afternoon until the world changes in a single, blinding instant. A flash brighter than the sun erupts on the horizon, followed by a deep, distant rumble that shakes the ground beneath your feet. Sirens scream through the air, their wail cutting through the confusion and fear. In that moment, reality splits. Some people rush to hidden bunkers, steel doors slamming shut behind them, while the rest of us are left exposed, with nothing but instinct and whatever shelter we can find. The clock is ticking, and every second feels heavier than the last. There's no time to panic, no time to wish for a different life, only time to act. The world has shifted from peace to chaos in a heartbeat, and your choices now matter more than ever. What you do in the next 10 minutes could decide your next 10 years. In 2025, the world stands on a sharper edge than most realize. The old balance of terror that kept nuclear weapons in check is eroding. New arms races are heating up, with countries like China, Russia, and the United States modernizing their arsenals and testing new delivery systems. Meanwhile, unstable regimes and regional powers are seeking their own nuclear capabilities, making the global landscape more unpredictable. Treaties that once limited the spread and use of these weapons, like the INF and New START, have either expired or been abandoned, leaving a dangerous vacuum. But despite the headlines and Hollywood images, nuclear war doesn't mean instant global extinction. The vast majority of people won't be vaporized in a fireball. Instead, most will face the slower, deadlier threat of radioactive fallout, dust and debris carried by the wind, contaminating everything it touches. The real challenge is surviving the aftermath, not the initial blast. This is where knowledge and preparation matter most. Survival isn't just for the rich or the lucky, it's for the prepared. And in a world where the rules are changing, being ready is more important than ever. The moments after a nuclear detonation are a race against time. If you see the flash or hear the sirens, your first instinct might be to look outside or run for the nearest exit. But survival depends on resisting that urge. The shockwave travels slower than light. So if you see the flash, you may have seconds before the blast hits. Drop to the ground, cover your head, and shield your eyes. This is the science behind the old duck and cover drills. It's not just outdated advice. It can protect you from flying glass, debris, and the intense heat that follows the initial explosion. Once the shock wave passes, your next move is crucial. Seek shelter immediately. The three pillars of survival are time, distance, and shielding. The more time you spend away from radioactive fallout, the better. The farther you are from the blast and fallout zone, the safer you'll be, and the thicker the barriers, concrete, earth, or even stacks of books, between you and the outside, the more protection you have from radiation. Don't waste precious minutes gathering supplies or searching for loved ones if it means exposing yourself. Every second counts. You don't need a bunker, just the right moves in the right moments. The chaos outside is real, but your actions in these first minutes can tip the balance from disaster to survival. When the outside world becomes a threat, your best chance of survival is to turn whatever space you have into a shield against fallout. If you're at home, head for the basement or the most central room on the lowest floor, ideally one without windows. The goal is to put as much dense material as possible between you and the outside. Concrete walls, thick bookshelves, even heavy furniture can all help absorb radiation. Stack them against exterior walls or use them to create a barrier around your chosen shelter spot. If you don't have a basement, pick a small windowless room, like a bathroom or closet, and start improvising. Fill gaps with mattresses, blankets, or bags of clothes. Use duct tape, towels, or plastic sheeting to seal doors and windows, keeping radioactive dust from drifting in. Every layer adds protection, and every minute you spend inside reduces your exposure. Caught in a car, park next to a large building or under a bridge, and use floor mats, seat cushions, or even bags of soil to line the doors and windows. The key is to think creatively and act quickly. Your best defense might be hiding in plain sight, using everyday objects to build a barrier between you and the invisible danger outside. In a world turned upside down, resourcefulness is your greatest ally. After the initial blast, a new danger arrives, one you can't see or smell. Fallout is radioactive dust and debris thrown into the sky by the explosion, carried for miles by the wind, and settling on everything it touches. The first 72 hours are the most dangerous, as radiation levels are at their highest and then drop rapidly. This window is your most critical test of patience and discipline. Stay inside and avoid any contact with the outside air. Don't drink water from open sources. Fallout can contaminate lakes, rivers, and even rain barrels. Use bottled water or what's already stored indoors. For food, stick to sealed packages and cans and avoid anything that's been exposed to the air. If you must use tap water, let it sit so particles can settle. Then pour off the clean water from the top. Keep your living area as clean as possible. Change clothes if you were outside, and store contaminated items in a sealed bag away from your shelter. Use towels or plastic to block air gaps under doors. If you have a radio, listen for official updates. Authorities will announce when it's safe to emerge. Radiation is an invisible enemy, but it follows rules. The longer you wait, the safer it becomes. The invisible threat is beatable if you know its rules. The urge to escape can be overwhelming, but in a nuclear crisis, patience is often your best ally. Fallout is most dangerous in the first hours after detonation, so staying sheltered is usually the safest choice. But how do you know when it's time to move? This is where the 7 to 10 rule comes in. For every sevenfold increase in time after the blast, radiation drops by a factor of 10. For example, after 7 hours, radiation is about 1/10 as strong as it was after the first hour. After 49 hours, it's down to 1/100th. Listen for official instructions on the radio or emergency broadcasts. If you must leave, cover as much skin as possible, use a mask or cloth to filter dust, and move quickly to a safer location, upwind or away from fallout zones. Patience can save your life, but so can knowing when to run. The right timing can mean the difference between survival and disaster. Emerging from shelter is just the beginning. The world outside may look familiar, but contamination lingers on surfaces, in soil, and in water. Finding clean water and safe food becomes a daily challenge. Boil, filter, and avoid anything exposed to fallout. The psychological toll is real. Fear, isolation, and uncertainty can weigh heavily. This is when community matters most. Reconnecting with neighbors, sharing resources, and supporting each other are vital for recovery. Survival isn't just about living, it's about adapting to a changed world. The days and weeks ahead will test your resilience, but together, Rebuilding is possible, one step at a time. History is filled with stories of ordinary people who survived the unthinkable. In Hiroshima and Nagasaki, many who lived through the bombings weren't in bunkers. They were shielded by thick walls, basements, or even just the right side of a building. Their survival wasn't luck, it was quick thinking and using what was available. During Cold War near misses, citizens who followed simple instructions, seeking shelter, staying put, and waiting for official updates, often made it through. Hollywood loves to show total destruction or lone heroes. But reality is different. Most survivors were regular people who made smart, informed choices under pressure. The lesson is clear. Knowledge, not panic, is your greatest weapon. Understanding the real risks, knowing how to act, and staying calm can tip the balance between chaos and control. In the end, survival favors the informed, not the afraid. Your best chance is to be ready, not just scared. Thanks for watching. If you found this information valuable, please like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss our next deep dive. Stay informed and stay safe.